25th of May 2023. There's some of the vegetables I'm trying to grow this year. 2 different varieties of tomatoes. These are just germination tests really, but they all flourished, so I thought, well, I might as well use them, shove them in the greenhouse. Over here I've got my daughter's sunflower seed. She was given 2 by school, only one of them germinated, so I shoved that in a spare pot. Last year's leeks, some of them I saved, repotted them, and they've come up now. Hopefully they'll shoot up some flower stalks, I can get some seeds. And this is the same with this parsnip. There were some I left over winter in the raised beds, and I repotted them over the winter, and now we've got some lovely flowers, so hopefully we're going to get loads of parsnip seeds as well. They don't tend to last very long. An apple tree I planted in a tub, I don't know, about 6-7 years ago. And these are loads of potatoes. This area of the garden was very thin, very soily, very stony. So last year spent potato compost just thrown there, with lots of little potatoes in. I'm trying to grow pumpkins, as you can see down here, but all these old tiny little potatoes just took root and completely inundated the pumpkins. So I've got 4 sets of pumpkins here that I just can't see the sunlight now. These potatoes have grown up really quickly. On top of the spent compost, I've put loads of last year's grass clippings on top as well. These potatoes are doing really well. I didn't intend them to grow, it's just what happened. And I've also I germination tested some old runner bean seeds, and I didn't want to waste them when they all germinated, so I shoved them in the ground here to climb up the fence, hoping we didn't get any frost, because these have been in the ground a good month now, and luckily we've not had any frosts here in Yorkshire. So a plethora of potatoes there. The pumpkins won't come up, unfortunately, I don't think. These are all garlic, mainly grown from the bulbils from 2 years ago. They went all spindly and flat and fell over last year, and I thought they were all dead, but they've all just come back again and fallen over again. Mint, I planted this last year, didn't do anything, looked really weedy. It seems to be doing a little bit better this year. 4 or 5 garlic cloves I just planted, I had spare. But in this trough, all planted last year, are chives, oregano, which has done really well. Keep nibbling on that, and some parsley. I've let some of that go to seed as well. So that's just a little herbs section there. This is my main runner bean section. A lot of last year's spent compost I've just thrown on. This was all covered up over winter, but I put a load of spent compost and put some runner bean seeds in now. This had runner beans in last year, and it's been covered over on top of old spent compost, and again lots of shoots have tried to grow under the covering, and now I've got lots of potatoes coming up, where all I intended was these 2 butternut squashes, which were grown indoors like the pumpkins were, and then planted out. And I've also planted some runner beans in there as well, so hopefully I'll have some of them coming up. Love me runner beans. And there's a single leek as well from last year in its 2nd year. This is where the parsnips were growing last year. I must have missed 2 and they just shot up. But these are all the onions I planted 6-7 weeks ago, all coming up now. The remains of the grass clippings mulch. Another volunteer potato, and some peas. Some were direct sown and some were grown indoors and then planted out. And in this bed, these were all sown direct. 4 rows of beetroot, and I will be eating the greens, or we shall be eating the greens as a salad as well. And they're doing really well. Got the mesh over just to keep the slugs off, and the dog. They're looking good. 3 rows of parsnips, same seeds as the one that I grew last year, so I didn't think they'd come up because parsnip seeds don't last very long. And these are carrots as well, 4 rows of carrots. So they're all doing well. Just a bit of a look back at the garden. Got a couple of other apple trees there I didn't mention. I've been here a long time before we moved in. Here we've got a grape. This was just a 1-foot stick we planted beginning of last year. And this is what it is now, 15 months later. And I don't know anything about grapes, but I think we're getting these little stalks coming out of these, possibly going to be flowers on the end of, I don't know, so we might get some grapes in its second year, I'm not sure. Seedless grapes. I'll be taking some cuttings and hopefully trying them along the fence at the top of the garden. This is a nettle tea with wood ash. Stinks bloody awful. I will be adding some stale urine to that as well and diluting it for fertiliser for the vegetables. Lovely jubbly. Drinking that later. Not. Down the side of the house, these are just growing everywhere around the garden, especially in the front gardens. Woodhavens. The roots contain eugenol, I believe, which is the same as what's in cloves, so you can rub the roots on your gums if you've got toothache, or you just want that cloves flavour. So yeah, I've tried that, that's quite nice. And these are my long-term garlic. Some of them are putting up the scapes like they did last year, but the wind's beating a lot of them down. Whether they're going to come back next year, I don't know. I'm not hopeful, but we might get some garlic bulbs out of that lot. Yeah, seems to be getting a lot of wind this springtime. I do love my garlic, it grows very easy, and of course it's good for you. And here's some of when I thinned out the parsnip seedlings, I just shoved a few in where we keep the flowers. Some of them have taken, we've got 4 taken there. And that's just the rest of the garden, so thank you very much for watching, folks. Food shortages and inflation mitigation. Bye for now.